Lazaro and friend. Mr. Lazaro.
What the hell are you two doing? Ah, turn around! Ah, get your hands away!
Give in, please.
Nice place. But this crowd isn't here to admire the architecture. They're all imagining the ugly mess behind those walls. That's why I'm here, too. Nothing makes better copy than the ugly mess that's on the inside of well-kept people.
Will you be getting a statement from anybody?
No, you can't.
Oh, it's all right. Okay, yeah. Did you get a statement from anybody?
Checking the street now.
Yeah, up and down the street. Get back to me on that as soon as you can. All right?
Hi.
Hi. Who is he? Well, his name's John Lazaro. What, you know him?
Well, I know who he is. He's the vice president of an oil corporation. He makes the society pages a lot. He just stepped down as chairman of the Community Relief Foundation. What happened to him?
Take a look for yourself.
My God.
Use one of those babies and there's not much left to look at.
Well, what's the story?
Wife said it was a prowler. That's all we've been able to get out of her so far.
Well, let's go see how she's doing.
Hi.
Is she any better?
She took a couple of Valiums, but she seems okay.
Mrs. Lazaro, I do know how hard this is for you, but we have to know what happened. Now, you were upstairs in your bedroom with your husband.
Yeah, we were watching TV.
And then what?
We were just watching TV.
Well, you heard somebody downstairs.
Yes, and I wanted to call the police, but John said he'd take a look, and then he came downstairs, went into the living room, and I watched from the top of the stairs, and then I saw the door.
What door?
The closet door. That's where he kept his gun. And I tried to warn him, and then I heard a shot, and then I saw a man running past me.
Did you get a look at this man?
No, it was too dark, and I don't know, it all happened so fast.
Kevin?
Excuse me.
Lady across the street says she saw the whole thing. You want to talk to her?
Yeah, thanks. We'll take it. Let's go.
Is that the house? Yeah, right over there, sir. On the left? Yeah, right there.
Okay, thanks.
Did you buy any of that?
Sure, a couple sitting around watching TV. He's got a bomber jacket on. She's dressed for the Academy Awards. Why not?
No sign of forced entry. Nothing's even been touched. But the first thing this prowler does is go right to the hall closet and grab the guy's gun.
That's a little strange.
Did either of you gentlemen take sugar?
I'm afraid we don't have enough time.
Oh, please, come on. Now sit yourselves down. Sit down, please. The tea's getting cold.
All right. Just a little milk in mine, thanks. Now, you were the first person to report this shooting.
And you want to know if I saw anything?
That's right.
I certainly did. The whole disgusting display. Can you imagine that? Her, a married woman, and bringing that man home to her own house.
What man?
The man who killed her husband, that's who. A tall man, wearing a long tweed coat, and he had a little grey cap.
Are you saying she brought the killer home?
Well, actually, he brought her home. It was his car.
Can you remember anything about the car?
It was a four-door Chrysler. Fairly new model, I'd say. Here. I jotted down the license number.
How did you manage to,
Now, why don't you start from the beginning?
They weren't even very discreet about it. The two of them carrying on like drunken teenagers. They must have wakened half the neighborhood.
Now, anything you could tell us about the Lazaros would help.
There really isn't very much I can say. They minded their business and I minded mine. Well, they hadn't been in there a minute when Mr. Lazaro comes home, drunk as a lord. Honestly, I don't know how he could drive. He couldn't even walk straight. So then he barges in and catches them in the act. Of course, that's when all the shouting started.
Could you make out anything that they said?
I assure you that I'm not in the habit of listening in on other people's conversations. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, the shouting. Well, first the shouting and then the shooting. One shot. And then the boyfriend runs out and drives away. That's when I called you people. But you must have already heard all this from Detective Mallory.
From who?
Detective Mallory. He's been watching their house for the last 2 weeks now.
All right, I lied. What was I supposed to do?
You could have told the truth.
And tell you I brought some man home who shot my husband? What would that make me look like?
Lady, you seem more concerned about your reputation than his death.
I'm sorry. Would you prefer more tears?
I gather you weren't too fond of your husband.
I know what you're getting at. Look, officers, I'm sorry he's dead, but we weren't that happy together. We were in the process of a separation, and he still thought he owned me.
From what we hear, you're not exactly a homebody yourself.
It gets pretty tedious sitting at home waiting to take the lipstick off your husband's collar.
So you went out too?
Yes,
Tonight, for instance.
that's right, tonight.
And who was this guy you brought home?
A Tom, I think he said Stanton.
Where'd you know him from?
I didn't, I just met him tonight.
Where?
Panama Joe's.
Who's that?
It's a bar, Kevin. Have you ever been to this Stanton's house?
I told you, I just met him tonight. Anyway, I think he said he was from San Francisco.
All right, you brought him home. And what happened?
Nothing happened. We were just sitting in the living room having a drink when John barges in, stinking drunk as usual.
And then?
And then he staggers over to the hall closet. As soon as I saw him go there, I warned Tom that's where he kept his gun. And before I knew it, he's pointing the thing at us.
At both of you?
Believe me, he would have killed us right there on the spot, both of us. Thank God Tom jumped him. And then the gun went off.
And what about Stanton? The guy you brought home.
Oh, I guess I saw him run out of the house and I heard his car go. I don't know. Somebody must have called the cops. Next thing I knew, you were all here.
Well, at least this story sounds a little like the lady next door.
That's a little more plausible and a lot harder to disprove.
Hi, how'd it go in there?
Why don't you check out a detective, what?
Mallory.
Mallory. Have him get in touch with me. Apparently he's watching these people for some reason.
Okay.
Long time no see.
Mr. Turnbull. A pleasant surprise.
Off into the wild blue yonder?
No. Yes, actually. Business, just a day or two.
Well, the first thing we can do is check out her story at the bar.
Yeah, right. Panama Joe's.
What kind of place is that, anyway?
That's a singles bar, Kevin.
Oh, you mean a meat market?
It's a singles bar.
You ever been there?
Oh, well, maybe once or twice. A long time ago.
Twice, a long time ago.
You have a good memory.
So where you been hiding? The twins have been asking about you.
Twins? Look, Jerry, you have a customer called Laura Lazaro?
Yeah, I know Laura. Pretty, blonde, well-dressed, classy. Not like those twins.
Was she in here this evening?
Yeah, she was here earlier on.
Was she with anyone?
Yeah, she picked up some guy.
A tall, slender guy wearing a tweed overcoat?
Yeah, you got it.
Picked him up. You sure they didn't know each other from before?
No, no chance. In fact, I was the one who told him to try his luck with her. What's this all about, guys?
We don't know yet. Yeah, thanks, Jerry.
Frankie!
Twins?
I ain't saying nothing till I talk to a lawyer.
We got a white male, age 56, very dead, named Otis Turnbull. They seem she's been shot once with a small caliber pistol and apparently has not been robbed.
Did anyone see anything?
These people over here. They were waiting by the elevator, it arrived, and there he was. Security came a minute later. Whoever did it was long gone. Wallet still intact, and a suitcase full of personal effects.
Maybe someone didn't like his face.
Kevin,
Yeah.
brace yourself. That other homicide, Lazaro, we traced the car Stanton got away in. It's a rental, and it's here.
Where? Downstairs, 2 floors. All right, there's a connection. There's got to be a connection. All right, Stevie, I want you to go to the departures lounge, check the outgoing flights in the last half hour. If he's still up in the air, we can call and have someone pick him up.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I checked out Detective Mallory.
And?
There's only 2 Mallorys on the job. One of them's up moose hunting or something in the Labrador, and the other one doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right, Freddie, I want you to do the follow-up on Turnbull. Find out if he has any connection with Stanton. It's done. If Stanton picks up a lady, the jealous husband shows up, Stanton kills him. And he runs to the airport to get away. And then he kills somebody else.
And just because he was here doesn't mean he had anything to do with this, you know.
I hate coincidence. Besides, if there's 2 killers, that makes twice as much work for us.
Lunch, baby.
Right here, right here.
I got the good sandwiches, man.
All right, one for me.
Went to heaven or something.
I got the good sandwiches.
What have you been able to dig up on this Stanton? Everything I didn't want to hear. He is from San Francisco. He's a salesman. San Francisco PD says he has no priors, no parking tickets, doesn't even have any library fines. In short, a model citizen. This is the wrong meat.
Model citizens do not kill 2 people in one night and then vanish off the face of the earth.
You pig, you already ate this one.
I'm not rabid.
Well, I checked out airlines like you requested, and if Stanton's flown out of here, he's got feathers and wings.
Well, could have paid cash and used a phony name.
Not a chance. Security's pretty careful about checking out their cash payers.
Really?
Who's got my corned beef?
Sauerkraut and Russian dressing?
That's it. Hijackers are pretty shy when it comes to using their credit cards. You know what I mean?
So Stanton runs like hell to the airport. And then he doesn't go anywhere?
Can I help you, sir?
I'm looking for a Detective O'Brien.
What can I do for you?
I understand that you're handling John Lazaro's murder.
Bring a chair. Please, sit down.
Thank you. My name is Jeffrey Cantrell. I'm the operations manager for Jetstream Oil Limited. Perhaps you'd be interested in knowing John Lazaro was a thief.
You have proof of this?
Of course we have proof, Detective. Cancelled checks, forged requisitions, times and dates when his computer codes were used to route huge sums of money to bogus suppliers.
What kind of money are we talking about here?
Something in the neighborhood of $2 million.
It's a nice neighborhood.
You didn't just discover this. Why didn't you report it before now?
We were planning on reporting this as soon as we had sufficient evidence. To this end, we hired a private detective.
Detective Mallory.
Would you shut the door, Sarah?
Gotcha.
What is it? What's wrong?
Got trouble. Somebody knows.
They can't. I took care of everything. What's this? Hello.
Hello. I guess you got my little note.
Who is this?
That's not important. What matters is that we got a problem here. See, I got far too much information. And you got far too much money.
What do you want?
I don't know, just enough to cover expenses.
Shall we say half? $1 million.
Mr. Mallory?
Depends.
O'Brien Mid-South's my partner, Jambone. You got a minute?
Ed Mallory at your service. Come on in, boys. Want to shut the door? You want a swig? What, you want a glass?
Mr. Mallory, do you want to sit down? We'd like to ask you a few questions.
I'm gonna have to ask you not to touch that. That relates to a very sensitive case I've been working on.
We're looking into the murder of John Lazaro.
I don't do murders. Look, you want to know who your wife's sleeping with? I can get you a full set of 8x10 glasses for $500. That's my specialty.
Now, wait a minute. Lazaro's employers hired you to investigate him. We want to know what you found out.
Are you all right? Yeah, it's just a lot of dust in here. Well, I guess since Lazaro's dead, don't make no difference. Where do you want me to start?
I wouldn't mind the beginning.
Well, his employers weren't too keen on his activities.
Well, we're interested in people who didn't like him.
He didn't have a lot of enemies. But then again, he didn't have a lot of friends either. On the surface, he was kind of a social guy, you know, charities and that. But underneath, I think he was a bit of a loner.
What about the money?
Like I said to Cantrell, you can't recover what ain't there.
Well, what happened to it?
Well, expensive dinners with pretty ladies, nice cars, tons of trips to Vegas. Compulsive gambler. You know how it is, these guys, they borrow 50 grand, you know, and they play craps, and they blow it all at the craps table, and then, you know, next week they're borrowing another 50 to win it back. He must have made 20 trips to Vegas last year. He lost big every time. Here, I got the receipts from his travel agent.
How'd you get those?
I got my methods.
Including impersonating a police officer.
Huh?
Mrs. Meddleston?
Not once did I ever say I was a cop.
But you didn't object when she thought you were one.
Look, O'Brien, all you have to do is waltz in, you flash your badge, and everybody spills their guts. Me, I gotta use a little more creative...
imagination.
Yeah, to get the job done. Look, Lazaro's gone, the money's gone. I'm off the case. I don't have to talk to you guys. Nice to meet you.
We'll stay in touch.
I finally ran down Stanton's hotel. He was gone, but didn't bother to check out.
Did you find out when he left?
No one saw him since a couple hours before the shooting.
All right, stay with it. Now, Frank, let me ask you something. You're Stanton. You killed a man in self-defense. What's your next move?
Well, if I was Stanton, right? He's a respectable businessman. He's got no records. And I knew the cops were onto me. I'd probably contact my lawyer and turn myself in.
But Stanton didn't do that. Why?
I guess killing Turnbull makes that kind of difficult.
Yeah, but what I don't get is what in the hell Turnbull had to do with it in the first place.
The Community Relief Foundation.
Don't be coy, Freddie. Spell it out.
Well, you remember Tommy told us that last year that Lazaro was the honorary chairman of the Community Relief Foundation?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I checked up on Otis Turnbull. And like the missing Mr. Stanton, he too is your typically upright, honest citizen. In fact, do you know why he was at the airport when he was killed?
No, I don't know why.
On his way to visit his sick mother.
Do you think you could drag this out a little longer, Freddie?
Okay. For the last 5 years, Otis Turnbull has been a volunteer fundraiser for the Community Relief Foundation.
That's it?
Lazaro Community Relief Foundation, Turnbull Community Relief Foundation.
The next thing we got to do, Freddie, is get someone down here from the Community Relief Foundation.
Okay, no problem. First thing in the morning.
We're trying to connect Stanton to Turnbull, and instead we tie in Lazaro. It's kind of fun, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Next thing we'll find out is Mrs. Lazaro was a Girl Scout with Mallory. You mind? See you later. There is something wrong with this case. There's some things that just don't fit.
You always say that when you haven't solved it yet.
I know that, Nikki, but this one is different.
How?
Well, you want to hear the story? Pull up a chair. It may take a little while.
All right, but make it the condensed version, okay?
All right. First, we have John Lazaro, who gets shot just as he's about to be arrested for embezzling a fortune. Next, we get a witness who doesn't just give us a description. She gives us a play-by-play and caps it all off with a license number. And Laura Lazaro's first story sounds like it was meant to be picked apart. And why would she do that?
I don't know. Bartenders are paid to listen, you see. Detectives are paid to detect.
All right, next we have Stanton, right? He leaves his hotel, he rushes to the airport, he drops his car, only he doesn't get on a plane. For some reason, he kills a guy named Turnbull who has nothing to do with nothing. And to complicate things a little further, there's a private detective nosing around who wouldn't tell you the truth if you asked him what time it was.
I think you'd better slow down.
I'm missing something somewhere. I mean, I've seen it, but it hasn't gone in, you know what I mean?
It'll all work out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one thing if the facts aren't all in, but they are, and something is slipping right past me.
You want me to leave the lights on? Or?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give you a ride home.
Who's home?
Well, you'll just have to wait and see.
Evening, Laura. I'm your new partner. Discretion prevents me from making a more complete introduction.
What the hell are you doing here?
Keeping an eye on my interests. Making sure you don't plan on making any sudden trips. You know, to tell you the truth, I've been looking at this place for so long from the outside that I was dying to get in here and take a look for him from the inside. But the house wasn't the only thing I was planning on looking at from the inside.
Disgusting pig! I want you out of my house right now!
All right. Give me my coat.
Don't ever touch me again, you hear me?
Well, I guess a guy can't have whatever he wants, huh?
Get the hell out of here!
I'll call you.
Private detective. Of course. I should have known.
How were you supposed to know?
Because I knew that the company wouldn't go to the police, that's how. They hired Mallory to keep an eye on their $2 million. He must have been watching the house last night.
Well, even if he was, how is he going to figure it all out?
I don't know how. It doesn't matter how.
You were so careful.
Look, if you disappear now, they'll never stop looking for us. You understand? You gotta stick to the plan, Laura.
What about Mallory?
What about him?
Well, shouldn't you find another motel?
What for? As long as he thinks we're following his instructions, we've got nothing to worry about. I just wonder what the next move is gonna be.
All right, Mr. Weedle. And there are two murders that we are investigating. Otis Turnbull, who was a fundraiser for your Community Relief Foundation, and John Lazaro, who was the chairman.
Honorary chairman.
Whatever. We are looking for a connection.
I don't know what it could be. Mr. Lazaro's title was merely ceremonial. I am in charge of the day-to-day operation.
Are you saying that they might not have even known each other?
Oh, not at all. Undoubtedly, they might have met during a fundraising dinner. What I mean is, they might have met just to say hello, but that's all.
All right, Mr. Weedle, thank you very much for coming down.
You're welcome, gentlemen. I'm only sorry I couldn't have been of more help.
Not half as sorry as we are, sir.
Have you got the money, Mrs. Lazaro? Oh, good. I'm awful glad to hear that. No. You know, you just sit tight there, little lady. I'll be giving you another call in just a little while. Goodbye now.
Here we have an example of the subtle approach.
Has this been dusted?
Someone wanted to get in here. Must have been the noise the cleaning lady heard. Here. What do you want to bet Lazaro never even spent that $2 million?
Well, if that's true, we got ourselves a pretty good reason for those murders. It could be the grieving widow hired Stanton to do a number on her embezzling husband.
No. And I wouldn't put it past our fat friend on the floor there to have tried to cut himself in on it. Now, there's still a lot of pieces that don't fit.
There's one that might.
Looks like you didn't believe in paying his phone bills.
Maybe the phone company killed him.
There's a whole set of files in the cabinet over there and nothing under Lazaro.
All right. A notebook.
And a full set of 8x10 glossies, courtesy E. Mallory, private investigator.
Yeah, he was there, all right.
He had a mobile phone. Doesn't the phone company log every one of the calls you make on those
That's
phones?
right, check it out.
All right.
All right, it is time to pay another call on the grieving Mrs. Lazaro.
Yeah, I wonder what story she's swearing by tonight.
The first is a guy named Otis Turnbull. Your husband knew him from the Community Relief Foundation, and the other is a private detective named Mallory.
I've never heard of either one of them. I'm sorry, Detective. Now, if that's all you've brought me down here for, you'll have to excuse me. I'm very tired.
Lady, 2 people have turned up dead. We are not going to disappear. We're going to find some answers.
I've already told you I didn't know them. The foundation was part of my husband's Good Citizens Act, and as for embezzled funds and private detectives, I didn't know anything about it. It was all John's business.
And you're just not up to helping the police find his killer, is that it?
Am I being charged with anything?
Not yet.
Well, I'm through being cooperative. The next time we speak, I had better have my lawyer there.
Hey, lady. Next time we talk to you, you may need a lawyer. Think it'll work?
We'll see.
Kevin, I think I've got what you wanted here. After Lazaro's murder, Mallory made 5 calls on his mobile phone. 3 to his answering service, 1 to his dry cleaners, and 1 to the Lions Court Motel.
Lions Court Motel. What's the notebook say, Frankie?
1021. Mrs. L arrives with tall white male, 35. That's that one.
So that's the elusive Mr. Stanton.
1022. Lazaro home, high as a kite. That's that one. 1024. Shot fired. Mr. X takes off. And that's it.
Well, I've got a feeling that whatever Mallory saw when he got himself killed for is staring right at us. We just have to find it. Right here. I'm sure of it.
What are you looking for, anyways?
I don't know, probably nothing.
Stanton didn't just kill the guy. He took his gloves, too.
He's right. Look at that. Look, Stanton goes in without his gloves. A few minutes later, he comes out with his gloves.
I can't believe we didn't see that.
Just takes a little experience, boys.
All right. That was Freddie. He lost Mrs. Lazaro.
Where is he?
On the corner of Lakeview and Willett.
All right, put out an APB on her. Shouldn't be too hard to find a white Mercedes.
Lakeview and Willett, that is right by the Lions Court Motel. That's where Mallory phoned.
All right, now we're getting somewhere. Let's go.
You think she's going to see Stanton?
Yeah, except Stanton isn't Stanton. He's John Lazaro.
I love it when you get excited like that.
What the hell are you doing here?
The police had me in again. They know
The
something's
police
wrong.
don't know anything. I took care of everything.
John, they know. They're trying to charge me with your murder.
Did it occur to you that they might have followed you here?
We gotta get out of
I
here.
told you not to come here until the investigation was over.
Which investigation? The one for the man they think is you, or that poor guy at the airport? Or maybe you're talking about Mallory's
I
investigation.
told you I was going to take care of Mallory. What did you think I was going to do? Buy him a trust
I
fund?
thought you were gonna give him the money.
You thought that I was going to give $1 million to that slime?
What's this?
This is Mallory's file on me. I thought it might show us how he figured us out.
And does it?
No, it doesn't. It's just company stuff.
John, if he had any other kind of evidence, the cops are gonna find it.
You're right. Damn, it was perfect. Where the hell did we go wrong? Come on, let's get out of here.
Once Lazaro had the money, why did he go to all this trouble?
Because he knew he'd get caught. Even if he ran, he knew his company would be on his tail for the rest of his life.
But if he's dead and the money's spent, then he's home free.
Must have been working on it for months, all those trips to Vegas.
Those fights with his wife, all staged for the neighbors.
Same way they staged their separate arrivals at the house that night. Nice and loud.
Yeah, making sure that Mrs. Meddleston heard.
By the time Lazaro got inside, Laura probably had taken care of Stanton already.
Why bother?
Well, they gotta get that coat off Stanton and get him into Lazaro's jacket. It's the only way it can work.
Yeah, they thought of everything. Even the glasses. A dead ringer for the body we found.
A dead ringer.
And of course, all this time they're carrying on a fight at full volume.
What the hell are you two doing? I'll kill you! Stop it! Get your hands away! I'll get you now!
And once Lazaro's wearing Stanton's coat and hat, all that's left is to erase his face.
Only he forgets to take off the gloves.
I wonder how many times she rehearsed that little scene in her mind. God, I knew she was lying.
Come on, Kevin. A woman's telling you she saw her husband get blown away right in front of her eyes. I mean, what are you going to say? Come on, lady, you sure it was him? She did a number on us. The only thing I don't get is how the hell Turnbull fits in all this.
Hey, remember what that guy said? That Turnbull didn't really know Lazaro, he just knew him to see him? Well, Lazaro really didn't need to be seen. He was supposed to be dead.
.106, 105, 104.
bother to take his toothbrush or razor.
It's still warm here.
What you got? At least we got the room right.
They've gone already.
We know a radio car just spotted their car in front of the train station.
Freddy's already on his way over there.
All right, let's go. You know, for a guy that's dead, Lazaro sure gets around pretty good.
Platform 16, it leaves in 5 minutes.
Good, let's go.
Ready? Find out when the last train left?
About 15 minutes ago.
So they're probably still here.
No, we got about 8 trains leaving within the next 20 minutes.
All right, we got 8 trains to catch. Let's get going.
Backup's on the way.
What car number is it?
6527.
You know that?
Oh my God!
There it is.
Everybody down! Get out of the way! Everybody down! Everybody down! Stay still! Everybody down! Stay still! Out of the way! Get down! Stay down and don't move!
Coming through.
Clear it right now! Get out of the way! Move down! Don't move.
One night, Laura and John Lazaro decided to put on a little play for the neighbors. It was a very cleverly concocted piece of fiction in which the husband gets killed in the first act. Like any good play, it had a happy ending. The husband didn't really die. Opening night was a smash hit. The box office took in $2 million. And then, just when this little play looked like it was going to be a runaway hit, it closed on the second night. Somebody rewrote the ending and the husband really died. Poor Laura. She had to take the curtain call alone.
And I feel the night.